We still have to sing on camera together, so it's springtime for Hitler and Germany, winter for Poland and France.
Okay. We have to keep this like PC.
No, it's fine. I'm not gonna. It's
You
fine.
can cut. You can
We
bleep.
can bleep. We can.
Yeah.
I've been bleeping it for 4 years now.
Okay. Like, Momo, you gotta sit. You gotta sit, Momo. Let's go. Come on. Okay, great. Okay, he's good. Are we rolling? Hi, welcome to Wine with Adam. I'm your host, Adam Scott Bellos, and today we are filming from the center of Tel Aviv on Rothschild Boulevard, and I'm here with my special guest, Alon Gur Arye, filmmaker extraordinaire, godfather of the cult Israeli cinema, comedian, writer, director, Mako's Person of Culture of the Year, or most influential person in Israeli culture
you
of the
should
year.
rewrite my Wikipedia page.
I can rewrite your Wikipedia page, but I'm not done. Former Israeli Scoutmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And father of two.
Yeah, right. The legal one.
Legally
Yeah.
father of two. I am here with an unbelievable Israeli cultural icon, and today we're going to be talking about Israeli film and the impact of Israeli film on Israeli culture and how Israeli film has told the story of Israeli culture, but also we're going to touch on how Israeli film could probably help connect the world to Israel and the Hebrew language. But today, first, I'm going to tell you about the wine that we're drinking. We are drinking the Bravdo 2021 Sauvignon Blanc. It comes from the Bravdo Estate Winery. They make about 86 or 96,000 bottles. Okay, still a boutique winery. Their winery is located in a beautiful vineyard in Carmel Yosef in the municipality of Gezer. Okay, so L'chaim, I want to know what you think, what you taste, what you smell. So to me, I get like kind of sweet and sour, and a little grapefruit there, maybe some type of citrus. What do you think?
My career, sweet and sour, and fruity on the sides. No, it's great. Really great.
You can find this wine at wineonthevine.com, and you can plant a vine with the Bravdo Winery at wineonthevine.org. We were very lucky. We got to meet when one of the biggest Jewish cultural icons, pop cultural icons, American pop cultural icons came to visit Israel for the very first time. The jumping of the shark, the Fonz came to Israel, and what a week earlier, my house completely burnt down, and he heard about it, and he was like, "Oh, you got to come see me." I was really excited because I was a huge Fonzie fan as a kid, and he says, "Oh, we're getting this whole lecture about Israeli cinema." He was like, "You have to join me, while we hang out." And I was like, "Hey, okay, cool, whatever." And I walked down the stairs, and you're sitting there, and I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. I never saw you before in my life. And all of a sudden, you give the most amazing presentation on the history of Israeli cinema and how filmmaking originally began in this area with the original shots of the old train station in Jerusalem. And you started talking about Salah Shabati and Casablanca and stuff that Arik Einstein had done in theater. And then you kind of talked about the Globus brothers and all those guys.
I said that Israeli cinema is a ripoff of Hollywood cinema. I guess that was the...
But you screened for him your new project. And here's the cool thing about Mossad. And we can talk about the opening, which was really an homage to the Bond films, and you did something that was very unique, and I think you took some major filmmaking risks in terms of the comedy. So what did you want to achieve with this film? Because to me it was it was watching Get Smart, James Bond, Naked Gun.
So we had to figure out how to make this parody work today. And having the Israeli twist, because Mossad is very popular around the world. Everybody knows about the Mossad.
But I think the most interesting cultural flip that you kind of had is that globally the Mossad is known for being the most brutal, the most intelligent, the most effective intelligence agency in the world, and they're portrayed as total idiots.
It's much more fun to go through the bad guys.
You're crazy.
How did the Mossad like respond to seeing this kind of film?
There is a guy who said that's exactly how it is in real life. We want to go home at 5, and we don't want to work too hard. Another guy sent a blank, like an anonymous email. There are some things you can't laugh about. So that's exactly how it is. So because you have to something painful and real.
So what was your favorite film to watch as a kid? Comedies?
Wow! It was Airplane.
Airplane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a big Leslie Nielsen fan.
But I switched it later on to Groundhog Day. I think that's the perfect comedy.
So why do you think Israeli films haven't reached the pop cultural or like global pop cultural iconic stance that like many other foreign industries have, like Italy or France?
Well, Israel, first of all, you don't have enough people talking Hebrew to have enough audience. The biggest hits here ever made had 1,300,000 viewers that bought tickets.
And you're talking about Salah Shabbat.
Yeah, it was the 60s, and so we have no, but in Israel it was half of the population.
So Salah Shabbat became like this Israeli cultural, like iconic piece of cinema that like really put Israeli cinema on the map for the first time.
It was nominated to the Oscars.
In what, 1963, something like that?
62, 63.
For the best foreign picture. This is like the first time that this had happened in Israeli cinema. How did this how did this reflect the Israeli situation or like Israeli culture at the time?
People hated it or loved it because, a comedy is something painful and true.
Like, why is the name in general just a
Salah
joke?
Shabati, it's
what does
like,
it mean?
It's Slicha Shabati. It's forgive me that I came here to Israel, I immigrated, and I'm interrupting your perfect place called Israel. So at the first screening, people went out and thought how they can stop this, because they showed things like when people donate money to Israel, Keren Kayemet.
Okay.
So they have
This is that famous scene.
Yeah, they have a tree.
So what happens?
You plant a tree and put the name of the donor and send it to the US, the picture. So they just have a name and a tree, and then they change the name and put another sign on the same tree and recycle the tree 100 times and take the money and put
so
it on
basically
their
back in the 60s even,
Yeah.
they were making fun of this like philanthropic culture that connected the diaspora to Israel, even in Israeli pop culture.
Yeah.
And kind of highlighted, would you say they highlighted the hypocrisy behind it?
But yeah, people on the Knesset tried to have a rule that you can't send this film outside Israel because it's going to bring a disaster. But it was nominated to the Oscar.
So basically they failed, and again...
Yeah. So being funny, it's just a criticism on things that hurt people.
Would you say that Israeli cinema has always been there to, like, similar to other countries, but I would say even more intensely, criticize the narrative being perpetuated outside of Israel, within Israel?
Yeah, because there are lots, when you have something that's not going okay, things that are wrong, you have a space for comedy.
Like L'chaim. Okay, so I want to talk about you for a little bit.
Okay.
All right, great.
Great subject.
Where did you grow up?
Here in Rishon, it's 20 minutes that way.
How did you fall in love with Israeli cinema, and what were your biggest film influences in Israel?
I watched comedy shows on television and on films. Like I said, this Givat Halfon is perfect, but I also watched, you had this video stores. You just rent movies and don't,
So basically, when you were a kid, you were
just
sitting and watching film all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. Okay, great.
Instead of doing homework and recording everything.
What's been the biggest change in Israeli film, over the last couple of decades? Because now Israeli content is the most in-demand thing in the world. What changed? What was this like big?
We are suffering. We have no budget, so we can't blow it. We can't. We must do it right. So when you have a film, it's a miracle, and it must be perfect. When I am making a feature, I did already three films that went to the cinema. It's a miracle. So the scripts are really tight, and I think we just pick the best of the best. So I think that's what happened to us. We can't allow ourselves to make bad films and shows.
So basically, in short, there's no time to make crap anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because that brings up a really interesting thought. How did the Jewish success in Hollywood influence Israeli filmmakers in terms of their storytelling?
I think all over the world now, people are using the same template to write scripts. We all telling the same story now. The world is, more global. You have streaming. We watch the same. So, I think we are writing, but the fun is to make the Israeli twist. There are rules for Jewish humor. It's like you must know something about the culture and the holidays to have a laugh. And the second rule is who's telling the joke. Because if you're Jewish, it's okay. If you're not, you're anti-Semitic. That's the whole idea. The same joke. Just we suffered enough to tell those jokes.
I have a question. Do you think there's something about the Jewish experience globally, not just American, not just Israeli, that's led us to this type of industry?
You must have us and them. You must have a community. You must be a community and something, it was like in Europe, people in a community, you don't have an army, you can have land. Then we came to Israel. Now, Israel is a problem because here is the state of the Jews. You don't have us and them. You're you can't use those jokes. We had a problem. What is a Jewish mother here? It's a mother.
Like the Moroccan mother, the Tunisian mother, the Iraqi mother, the Ashkenazi.
So the Jewish mother now is a Polish mother here.
Right.
The same jokes. It's the Polish mother, and then you have us and them.
So basically, Israeli film, or really Israeli comedy, turned into creating like the social cleavages, and highlighting differences between immigrants more than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed is that, a lot of, how do I explain this? You're kind of known in Israel as the godfather of cult films. You used to hold these midnight screenings constantly at the Jerusalem Cinematheque. Tell me about these midnight screenings that you used to do and why they became so popular amongst young cinephiles.
I made a parody called Israeli Intelligence.
Which became one of the most popular short films ever made in Israel.
Yeah, it was here you have the advantage to do things for the first time. It was the first parody. It's a parody in Israel, and it was the best and the worst because it was the only one. and when
it was nominated for a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
You won Best Director at the Toronto Film Festival?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. You have this huge cultural success in Israel with Mossad. Okay? Then you make Mivtza Betza, Operation Egg.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is one of the to me when I was watching it, okay? It was like me seeing every single thing I thought about children's television as a kid, okay, plus adult humor, plus all of this slapstick. I kept seeing Buster Keaton, Abbott and Costello, Charlie Chaplin. It was like silent cinema of America put into Israeli cinema. Explain to me how you created this modern film that's this infusion of all these the old Hollywood style comedy.
Yeah. Every month I learned about someone, and that I said until I make the feature film of the Mossad, I'm going to learn about comedy, and I lectured about Monty Python and Charlie Chaplin and.
But all of these inspirations that you're talking about are clearly visible in Mivtza Betza.
Right. It was like a homage to the silent film. I said the jokes are universal because. When you had no sound, you had no culture differences, and it could travel. When humor could travel more easily. So we know you have pies. in the States, you have pies. We don't have pies.
Now, there's one thing I'm thinking of right
Yeah.
now. It's your hummus fight.
That's
That was
right.
clearly an Animal
Yeah.
House. Like when I saw that, I was like,
Yeah.
food fight. Like I straight up saw John Belushi.
That's right. Yeah, John Belushi and all the food fight, and I'm going to have another food fight, a better one, in my next movie. It's already and it was like, okay, but we don't have pies here, pie fights, but hummus, we have hummus. So we shot it in a pancake place. The place was pancakes, and we took all the pancakes and put hummus, and it was so fun. Except there's Shlomi Koryat, one of the actors, said, "I want to eat hummus." He didn't eat hummus for some months after this experience, but it was so funny.
Who are your biggest influences in Israel right now, comedy-wise? Like, who are the biggest comedians that you think are influencing you right now?
Oh, there's lots of stuff going on. If you talked about Jewish humor, there's a show called
Yehudim Abayim?
Yeah, that's right.
If American Jews had Yehudim Abayim, they would actually like being Jewish, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. That's really answering all the, it's all the
What's Yehudim Abayim? I mean,
it's a comedy show about history, and they can go to the Bible and they can go to the history of Israel, and then you have a sketch about what really happened there. So if you know something about history or the Bible and you know something, and you have a criticism, and you are a Jew, so you can tell the jokes.
Who are the biggest influences from Hollywood or really international filmmakers that have inspired you to do comedy?
The guy who's doing a great Jewish humor now is Sacha Baron Cohen.
Respect.
Yeah. And so his stuff is amazing. From Europe, I guess, Roberto Benigni, but not The Life is Beautiful. He did a lot of stuff before that,
Yeah.
from the 70s. And great, so accurate films. Because also, this is like a smaller industry, so we must be perfect. Also French comedies, old French comedies. Also,
I mean, you're a huge fan of silent film.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, who are your biggest influences in film that are Jewish?
I must say that the Zucker brothers, especially David Zucker, that was we met by coincidence, and he came to Israel because he heard I'm doing a parody, and you sit and you say, what will the creator of the Naked Gun will do? Oh, I can ask him. He's here right here. Tell me, David. So he's amazing. He's so lovely and so funny and sharp. And the airplane is really a perfect comedy and classic.
Okay, I want you to name, just rapid fire right now, who influenced you most from the silent film industry of early Hollywood?
So from the silent area, it's of course Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, but there's also Lauren Hardy, early films. When you watch those films, it's like pure cinema because it's only picture.
What's your dream project?
Well, I've already done that, so I have no reason to live now. This is a cry for help. This video. No,
If you're watching this,
don't say you didn't have some.
there was a warning right here, already filmed, okay? Apparently Alon has no reason to live because he's already achieved everything that he wants to achieve in life. I haven't heard that before.
But it's a relief because you know that you already done that. So now I'm working on 2 projects for television and 2 feature films and a remake for the Mossad.
Okay. So let me ask you, how do you think Israeli film could be used to connect the Jewish diaspora more to Israel? And how do you feel Israeli film could be used to spread the Hebrew language?
Well, if the story is good, you want to watch it. Today you can watch films that you're more tolerant to subtitles.
Right. Final question. This is the question that I ask everybody as my final question.
Okay. Wow.
And there's a reason why
I built up.
No. There's a reason why I do it, and it's because I want you to sum up your essence in one question, basically.
The bottle is empty.
The bottle is empty.
So you bring the biggest question now.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Okay.
If I was 12 years old, getting ready to be bar mitzvah, and I begin studying to be a bar mitzvah, turning 13. If there's one thing that you could teach me at 13 years old, that you could impart onto me, what would it be?
Don't invest in smart home because the technology changes too fast and you will stuck with wires on your walls. Sorry. That's really it. I'm telling that's
No, give me something life. Okay.
when people say no to you and they say that's their policy, the policy of the channel, the broadcasting, the streamer, the it's not their policy. There is one person that thinks like that this day. Sometimes you have some huge hits and sometimes it's failure. So don't take things personally. It will help you. That's a good advice, right?
Well, listen, I want to say thank you to my absolutely hysterical, wonderful guests, Alon Gur Arye.
Yeah.
This is-
I want to thank you.
No, thank you
For
for
this
making the
fruity
time.
wine.
The fruity wine.
Yeah.
Like I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to say that you can get this wine at wineonthevine.com. This is the Bravdo Sauvignon Blanc 2021. You can plant a vine at wineonthevine.org. And remember, when you drink your Israeli wine, drink it with somebody you love. L'chaim.